Alright, we are doing trapezoids and kites today, so we have two files that we need to put together because I didn't put this last page in your original notes. So I want you to open both files. Today's file looks like this, and then you have this file already. So it was PG2 notes, and you should already have it filled in. I want you to open both files on your screen so you have two tabs open. Okay. Then in this file, I want you to go to download. Okay. Click your computer. You don't need to change anything else. Begin export. Okay. You should get this little pop-up right there. Okay. Now, back to this file. I want you to hit the pancakes and hit split and merge documents. This is how you can combine two PDFs into one. Click continue. The first document shows up there. We also need the second one, so we are going to find where that one went. It's in my downloads folder. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Just click in the box that says add files. Don't click on the drive because it's not in your drive, it's just on your Chromebook. And if I go over here, you can hit recent, and it should be the first one on the top. Some sort of Cami export. Okay, so now you see both files. They should look just like that. Hit next. And now you have your document with your writing on it, plus my new last page. Okay, so we're going to export this to our Google Drive. Now I have folders, you may not. So if you want to select a folder to put it in, wonderful. If not, you can just leave it anywhere, if it'll let you do that. You might have a classroom folder, you could select that. Okay, and then we're going to link this file into our notes when we're done, so you'll still be able to find it. Okay, close it out, and then go to your drive. So if I open a new tab, and I click on the waffle, drive, it should pop up as the very first thing that you did, or the very first thing that pops up in the recent. So I've got my annotations, and do I have my new page? Yes, the new page. Okay, so go ahead and open this one with Cami, and this is the one we'll write on. Okay, so we have our file open with our notes, and we left off after squares. So today we are doing trapezoids and kites. And a trapezoid looks like this. It looks like a triangle with the top cut off. It has exactly one pair of parallel sides. That one pair in this trapezoid is that set. That set is parallel, and the other set is not. A trapezoid could be formed like this, where the parallel sides are sideways. It's totally fine, just rotate it. Alright, median is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2. Now these parallel sides are called the bases. One of them is base 1 and one of them is base 2, and it doesn't really matter which one, because when you add, the order doesn't matter. The median is this line down the middle. It actually connects the midpoints of both of those non-parallel sides. And if you remember from triangles, we had medians, and they connected the midpoints of the sides. So same with the median of a trapezoid. So So when you're doing this, the 1/2 plus base 1 plus base 2, that's the average of the two bases. Add them up, divide by 2. Okay? That's a standard those are standard trapezoids. Specifically, isosceles trapezoids have congruent legs. And these are the parts that are called the legs. Remember, the parallel parts are called the bases. So in a non-isosceles triangle or trapezoid, it might look something like that, where the two legs, these sides, are not congruent to each other. But in isosceles trapezoid, they are. In an isosceles trapezoid, the diagonals are congruent. The diagonals would be those two, C, D. So AC is going to be congruent to BD. Now, they don't bisect each other because they're not parallelograms. So there's nothing really I can mark there, which is why I listed it. And we have base angles that are congruent. The base angles, this set is congruent, and so is this set. Now, when I think of isosceles, I think of triangle. And if you remember, in an isosceles triangle, those two angles are congruent at the base. The same thing with the trapezoid. The two angles at the base are congruent to each other right here. But since we have two bases, we get two sets. So we also have, go away, this other set of congruent angles. Okay, so that's for trapezoids. So remember, the first two rules work for all trapezoids, and the third, fourth, and fifth rules only work for isosceles trapezoids. Okay, and then we have kites. Kites are not parallelograms, they're not trapezoids, they are just a different type of quad. And we're going to start with two pairs of congruent consecutive sides. Now you have to be careful. These two sides are consecutive, they're next to each other, but they are not the congruent pair. The two short sides are congruent to each other, and the two long sides are congruent to each other. Okay, we have one pair of congruent angles. Now again, you have to watch because we've got two pairs of angles, and actually I could have put opposite here. The pair of congruent angles are these two. So notice how that fits in with the sides. The congruent angles are in between the sides that are different. They are in between the sides that are different. Now you still have 360 degrees if you add up all four angles. And the one here at the tip and the bottom tip, those two will not be congruent. So you'll have three different measures to add for 360 angle sum. The last thing about kites is that the diagonals are perpendicular. If you remember, rhombuses also had perpendicular diagonals. What this leads to is a right triangle here, and that's going to be congruent to this right triangle here because they have the same sides. And then you're going to have two more right triangles down here at the bottom that are going to be congruent. So with kites, you'll end up seeing quite a few Pythagorean theorem problems because we know that we have right triangles. Okay, your assignment on this one is going to be attached to your Google Classroom. It looks like this. We've got trapezoids on the first page and kites on the second page. So please take some time to get started on that, and then we'll have any questions answered in the meet.